So after the Exodus part of Exodus, the Israelites traveled through the desert of Shur, and after 3 days without finding water, they came upon a spring. Ugh. Mara! It's bitter! What are we supposed to drink now? We're all gonna die! Not to worry, the Lord's power isn't just in creating plagues. Yeah, I just need to take this tree and... It's clean now. Wherever we find ourselves in need, the Lord shall provide for us. The only catch is that we have to make sure to follow all of his laws. All right, cool. Sounds reasonable. Yeah. Okay. No big deal. So what are his laws? I'd love to know. The Lord operates on his own schedule. Then they went into the desert of Sin, and it was around this time that their provisions began to dwindle. Did you drag us all the way out here just to starve to death? You could have at least killed us in Egypt with a full stomach. We're all gonna die. Hey now, everything. What are you whining at us for? It was the Lord who brought us out of Egypt, and he'll be sure to remind you of that tonight when he saves us again. And that evening, a bunch of quail dropped dead on the ground for the Israelites to eat. Then the following morning, the desert floor was covered in a mysterious flaky substance. Man, what is this? It's manna, the bread of the Lord. Everyone gather as much as you need. It'll cover the camp 6 days a week, and there'll always be enough to feed us all. Ah, cool. Sick. Awesome. The Lord does it again. Tastes pretty good too. Then the Israelites traveled to Rephidim, where they again ran out of water. My whole family is about to keel over. Is the Lord even here with us? We're all gonna die. Oh gee, I wonder if the Lord can get us out of this one. It's not like he's already saved our asses a dozen times. Okay, I'll see what I can do. And under God's direction, Moses took the people to a rock and struck it with his staff, and water flowed out of it. Ooh, oh, cool. Wow. Sorry for almost stoning you, Moses. Hey guys, the Amalekites just started attacking the rear of the camp. The Lord has forsaken us! We're all gonna die! Shut up! Joshua! Sup? Do you know how to use that sword? Didn't come with a manual, but it seems straightforward enough. Well, get as many men as you can and prepare for battle by morning. I'll be at the top of that hill with my staff. Tight. And Joshua led the Israelites in battle with the Amalekites. And Moses stood at the top of the hill with Aaron and Hur. This is Hur, by the way. He's just a guy. And whenever Moses had his arms raised, the Israelites prevailed, but whenever he put them down, the Amalekites overtook them. As the battle raged on, Moses' arms grew tired. So Aaron and Hur sat him down on a rock and held his arms up for him. And by sunset, Joshua and his men sent the Amalekites running. After the Israelites finally made it to Mount Sinai, they were visited by Moses' father-in-law, Jethro, along with Moses' wife and sons. Oh yeah, apparently Moses sent his wife and sons back home to Jethro at some point, and Jethro went into the camp to see his son-in-law. Yeah, I think the Lord might have messed up. This manna has worms in it. When did you harvest that manna? Just, yesterday morning. What did I say about stashing manna before Friday? Oh, I think you said we're not supposed to. And it turns out there's a good reason why. Maybe listen next time and you won't have to ask me any stupid questions. Next. Hey there, Mo. Jethro, what are you doing here? Well, I knew something was up when Zipporah and the kids came home. Not long after, we start hearing about some mysterious new god doing a number on the Egyptians and leading the Hebrews all here. I decided I had to see it for myself, and boy howdy, the Lord and his people really must be greater than all the gods in their nations. The Lord, no doubt. His people, a bit of a handful. A handful and a half. I tell them, here are some clear instructions directly from the ruler of the universe. If you deviate from these instructions, he'll get pissed off and bad things will happen. And do you know what they do, Jethro? They don't do They don't follow the instructions! I don't know what the problem is. Am I speaking Akkadian? Am I? That's a serious question. No, you're not. I told them that every Saturday, their job is to do nothing. Just chill. Now, you might not think a free day off would be a hard sell, but Jethro, oh boy. Moses, is it just you in charge here? Well, technically the Lord is in charge, though I'm the only one he talks to. I've got my brother Aaron handling PR, but between you and me, that's about all he's good for. Well, no wonder you're losing your mind, Mo. This is no job for one man. Haven't you considered, I don't know, delegating your responsibilities? Delegate? Listen, find trustworthy men with good heads on their shoulders and have them serve as judges over their own portion of the camp. Any small matters they can deal with themselves, and anything really important they'll bring to you. That'll make things easier to handle, no? Oh, that's actually a good idea. Maybe I'll get around to doing that after the Lord finally decides to tell me the laws we're supposed to be following. Yeah, you work in mysterious ways, whatever. By the way, Zipporah said something about having to circumcise your son one night. Can you explain what the hell that was about? The details were bizarrely cryptic. And on the third day that the Israelites camped at Sinai, the Lord descended upon the mountain with fire and blaring trumpets, declaring his commandments for all to hear.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of it. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, not his manservant, not his maidservant, not his ox, nor his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's.
I'm here. Oh, hey, Mo. Sorry if all that was a bit dramatic. You wouldn't think the Israelites would forget about my awesome power, but after all that whining and obstinance in the desert, I decided to remind them who they're dealing with. Can't say I blame you. You know how many times I've caught them trying to harvest manna on Saturday? It's literally a free day off. I know! And I give them extra manna on Friday, so what are they even going out for? I know! Well, despite the middling results of those first few trials, it's time that I start revealing my divine wisdom. Prepare to mark my words verbatim, Moses. What follows shall be the sacred law of your people. If you obey my voice and keep my covenant, you will be my treasure among all the peoples of the world, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. We shall begin with property law. And Moses returned from the mountain and built an altar at its foot. Before all the people of Israel, he made sacrifices and read aloud the words the Lord had spoken to him. So, do you think you can follow all of these? Yeah, sure. Works for me. Finally, I'll be able to settle all my ox-related disputes. Yeah, right on. You know, the slavery parts are quite progressive relative to our neighboring cultures. Then once more, God called Moses up to the mountain. So he appointed Aaron and Hur to be in charge in his absence and ascended with Joshua at his side. Hey, the Lord, don't you think it's a little much to ask an 80-year-old man to climb a mountain every time he needs to talk to you? Maybe you could just come down to the camp next time? That's funny, I was actually thinking the same thing. But you see, I'm more of a glamping guy than a camping guy, so I came up with an idea for a portable temple that you guys can build for me. Oh, that'll work, I guess. I mean, how complicated could it be? Exactly. So you'll just take some acacia wood and... Over the 40 days and nights that Moses remained on the mountain, the Israelites became restless in the camp. Hey, what's taking your brother so long? We haven't heard from him or the Lord in over a month. I've settled all my ox-related disputes and bought all the slaves I can afford. I don't know what to do with my life next. Patience, my brethren. We must have faith that... Your wishy-washy preaching isn't gonna help you this time, Aaron. Yeah, we need gods to worship and we need them pronto. Hey, don't look at me. I'm just a guy. So, to appease the Israelites, Aaron had them give him their gold, and he cast it all into an idol in the shape of a calf. Hey everyone, look, it's our savior, the Lord. He was a furry the whole time. And the Israelites threw a feast in honor of their false god, which quickly devolved into scandalous revelry. Meanwhile, and so the altar will be made of acacia wood overlaid with gold. Yes, you're catching on. How many cubits in width? Hold that thought for a second, Moses. My blasphemy senses are tingling. It looks like my kingdom of priests has gone and broken my first commandment before I've even formally given it to them. That's gotta be a new record. Oh no, I never should have trusted Aaron alone for so long. You should probably get out of here. It's about time I just wiped these people out and started over. These guys turned out to be too damn stiff-necked. Tell me something Wait, what? Yeah, I've been thinking it over, and it only took like 600 years to turn Abraham's geriatric seed into a nation, so we can just start from scratch with you and be back on track in no time. Glad you're for it. Right! If you're just gonna start over, what the hell was Egypt for? Are they gonna say you unleashed your wrath upon them for nothing? Just to send some slaves to their deaths? That you lied to Abraham, to Isaac, and Israel about making them a great nation? Well, when you put it like that... Look, 600 years might not mean much to you, but for us, it's countless lifetimes that deserve to have meant something. Alright, guilt trip successful. But you better go back and set them straight ASAP, and take these tablets of my covenant. You'll want to put particular emphasis on the first two items. Now don't make me regret this. You're all on thin ice from here on out. And Moses descended from the mountain with Joshua. It sounds like a battle going on down there. Worse, it's dubstep. I think this has gone a little out of hand. Look, I'm not good when Moses isn't here to tell me what to say. Once he comes back with more law to give, we can get everything back in order. Oh, you mean like this law? Moses, crazy thing. You know how these people are. They were getting on my case, telling me to make an idol for them to worship, and then they gave me their gold, and I tossed it in the fire, and out popped the Lord's persona. I had no part in this. Shut up, Hur, you don't do anything, you're just a guy. And Moses had the golden calf burnt and ground to dust, and he made the Israelites drink it in water. Then he called his kinsmen, the Levites, to his side. Every man take your sword and go through the camp, and kill all who have sinned against the Lord.
Okie dokie.
And as for you, you've been promoted to High Priest of Israel. Oh. Thank you. As far as I'm concerned, it'll be due punishment for the debacle you caused. Enjoy having the second worst job in the world, bro. And that night, about 3,000 men were slain for their apostasy. And Moses returned to the mountain for another 40 days and came back with new tablets to replace the ones broken in his rage. But after all his time in the Lord's divine presence, the skin of Moses' face now glowed. And so, to avoid frightening the people, he would put on a veil whenever speaking to them for the rest of his life. And according to the Lord's instructions, the Israelites constructed the Ark of the Covenant to store the stone tablets. And they also made the tabernacle, which was to be the Lord's dwelling place at the center of the camp, and where Aaron and his sons would conduct their priestly duties. And with that, the Israelites set out for Mount Sinai to continue their journey. I sure hope they get to that promised land soon. That's me doing another ironic joke to end the video on.